Hello, and welcome to hashtag Power Up, your weekly boost of training sponsored by the International Sunday School Department of the Churches of God in Christ. And I'm your host, Bill Rep. Patty Johnson, on today. Thank you so much for joining us. Here, as you come in, we want you to like and share, will love and share. Tag three people that you know that love Sunday school and have them join us on today. And what we've been doing is asking you if you are a alumni or current member of TAC or LEAP, let us know your cohort in the comments. And we love to see how many of our TAC and LEAP participants we have on today. Oh, great. We're already coming in. So we want to give honor to our international presiding bishop, Bishop J.J. Sheard, our supervisor, Mother Barbara McCool Lewis. And we want to give a special shout out today to our international president. Today is his birthday. So please make sure you reach out to him on our International Sunday School Department Facebook page and wish him a happy birthday. And we also salute our international field rep, Mother Cleolia Penix. And we also see our field rep, Sister Waynell Henson, that Sunday school girl, has joined us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us on today. So on today, we have someone that is a hashtag Power Up veteran. She is our resident educator. She's a teacher. She's a first lady, and she loves Sunday school. It's First Lady Yvonne Atkins. Last week we had BP Rodney Atkins, so we had the dynamic duo on these last 2 weeks. And so she really doesn't need a large introduction, but today she's going to talk to us about, now that school is back in session, are you prepared? She's always given us wonderful advice on how to prepare our children, both for marketplace and for Sunday school ministry. So won't you please help me welcome back to hashtag Power Up, First Lady Yvonne Atkins. Hi.
Hi.
So glad to have you with us again on today.
Good to be here on this Tuesday. And happy birthday to our International Sunday School president. And I am TAC cohort number 2. So glad to be here. So we're going to get started. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about school is back in session and are you prepared? We usually have this discussion when summer is in and school is out, and we talk about things to do over the summertime. But now school is back in and it has started up. Should be full swing for some states, and some states may be just getting started. Some states have received their first report card, their test scores from the 22-23 school term, and some have even taken their beginning of the school year assessments. So we're going to have a little conversation about what can we do now that we're back in school? Next slide, please. So you need to be proactive and not reactive. We need you to be proactive and not reactive. And so proactive is identifying and preventing potential problems, taking charge, being motivated. In other words, you make things happen instead of letting things happen to you. You make things happen instead of letting things happen to you. Or we don't want you to be reactive. We don't want you to be responding off an emotion or because you're late or because you didn't do what you needed to do. So we're going to discuss that. What does that look like, being proactive and not reactive? Next slide, please. So you need to know your children. They're your children, your child, and so you need to know them. You need to know what they do, what they don't do, how their behavior is, how they behave. And being proactive with your child, download the calendar, download what's happening at school. You want to see what early release days they have. You want to see when there's a college day and they might have to wear a college t-shirt or college colors. You may want to know when the holidays are, if your child's in band, if your child's on the chess club, if your child's in the choir, if your child's in any type of literacy club. You want to know when they meet, what activities they have. You want to know when PTA meets. You want to know when there's picture day. You want to be proactive. So download the school calendar with your child and fill in dates of importance so that you are both discussing what's going on, what is needed, and what you should be doing before the date arrives. You want to make sure that if you need to pack a lunch, if the child needs something special, you want to make sure that you are preparing your child and that you are prepared. You don't want to hear at 9 o'clock at night, Mom, I need cupcakes. Oh, when, child? Tomorrow. Be prepared, be proactive and not reactive. This keeps you from having to be stressed. This keeps the child from having to be stressed. So make sure you know your child and know what's happening. Also, visit your child or children's teachers. That's so important. If you haven't done that yet, go to the school and physically meet your child's teacher or teachers, set up a conference time, make sure you get to look at their test scores from last year, from the beginning of this school year. If they have the report card and you are not pleased or you don't understand something, take the report card with you. Make sure you make some kind of connection with your child's teacher. Make sure you know what's going on in that classroom. Also, make sure you know your child's administrators. Go up there, introduce yourself to the secretary, to the nurse, to the counselor. Make sure you are aware of all the people that are involved or have an opportunity to make a connection with your child at school. Know your children, know what's going on. If your child's reading below grade level, it shouldn't be a shock to you. You should know this already. If your child's having difficulties in math, you should know this already. You shouldn't be shocked that your child's in 5th grade, but they're reading on the 3rd grade level. As a parent, you should be engaged in how and what your child is learning. Your child should know basic math. They should know how to multiply without having a calculator. Make sure your child is equipped and prepared to be a great participant in school. Does your child know how to study? Some children don't know how to study, so you may need to help them organize themselves, organize the material, and be prepared to study in a manner that's helpful to them. Also, how is your child's behavior? In front of you, in your presence, and out of your presence. How does your child behave when they are with you or when they are without you? We should know our children. We should know if they are smart mouthed. We should know if they're good listeners. We should know if they're respectful. What type of behavior does your child exhibit? And is that the type of behavior you want them to exhibit? So don't let anything catch you off guard. Don't be shocked. Don't be disappointed. Make sure that you know your child. Was fortunate or blessed enough to have 2 children, Paul and Paula, very different. Paul's more quiet, more reserved. Paula's more active. She was more outspoken. She was more louder. She was just a different child. And so Paula always taught her to speak her mind. I always taught both of my children to speak up for themselves. And one day Paula went to the gas station across the street from where we lived. And that street that she happened to cross happened to be a busy loop. It was a really busy street. I didn't find out about it till later. And when the person came and knocked on my door, I went out immediately to go find her. And she saw me coming and she knew that I was really angry. And I began to fuss and argue and Paula, what you did is really dumb. This is just dumb. This is just so dumb. And she said, hold up, mama. Now, I'm not dumb. What I did was dumb, but I'm not dumb. And I had to apologize and I had to say, you are so right. You're not dumb. What you did is dumb. So as parents, when we make mistakes or when we do some things that we may not have thought we should have done, it's okay to apologize. But we want our kids to know that they are special, that they are important, and it's our job to relate that to them every day. Next slide, please. Sound familiar? A counselor took down some notes, and these are some of the things students said about their parents. When I annoy my mom, it is because I want her attention. I don't get it any other way. My dog gets more attention. Dad said is because the dog can't talk. So I stopped talking. My parents are always busy on their phone. Why am I here? Makes me want to leave. A 9-year-old. I love my mom and dad, even when they yell at me. I always loved them. I wish I knew I wish they knew that they loved me as much. I wish I was as important as their phone. My mom says, in a minute, and hours go by. This is why I yell and demand. She forgets me. When I read those, I was truly sad. Does this strike a note? Does this hit you? Is it you? Are you that person that says, wait a minute, that doesn't have time to give your child attention? Children are fragile and they'll do anything to get attention, be it positive or be it negative. We must pay attention to our children. I was reading an article and listen to this. It says there are 9 minutes during the day that have the greatest impact on a child. 9 minutes during the day. The first 3 minutes after they wake up, the first 3 minutes after they wake up, that impacts their day. That determines how their day is going to be. Do you wake them up arguing? Do you wake them up fussing? Or do you wake them up and do you have a short prayer? Or do you say, wake up, I am so blessed that you are up this morning? Do you do something positive when your child first wakes up in the morning? This sets the tone of the day. The next 3 minutes are after they come home from school. When your child comes home from school, if you're there or if you have them call you, what are your reactions when they come home from school? Do you ask them about their day? Do you have something pleasant for them to eat or some type of situation, even if you can't be there, if you all talk on the phone, where you're communicating with your child the first 3 minutes when they get home from school? And lastly, of course, the 3 minutes before they go to sleep or go to bed. How are you ending their day? Are you praying together? Are you discussing their day? Are you seeing what's needed for the next day? Are you getting prepared? So when they wake up, when they come home from school, and then the last 3 minutes before they get ready to go into bed. How are you interacting with your child or children? And I think that's very important. We're living in a day where everything is important and everybody is doing their own thing. And we're forgetting about our children and the responsibilities we have to bring them up as productive adults, as citizens of the kingdom. And so it's our job to make sure that we make their life just a little bit easier. It's hectic out there. It's wild out there. But home should be a place of protection, should be a place where they can feel safe, where it's a place where they can feel that they can tell you or talk to you about anything, and it will be discussed, and you won't be disgusted with them. You may be disgusted with the situation, but not be disgusted with them. Next slide, please. On one of Oprah's shows, she asked this question. The children are saying, do you hear me? Do you see me? Does what I say mean anything to you? Do you hear me? Do you see me? Does what I say mean anything to you? We love our phones. We love our social media accounts. We love Facebook. We love all of those social things. But what about our children? Are we taking time to give them a positive environment, to let them know how much we care and how much we appreciate them? We're involved in their lives. We want to know what you're doing in school, who your friends are, who your associates are, where you're hanging out. We want to immerse ourselves so in their lives that they know that we care about them and that we know what's going on with them, be it school, be it church, be it sports, be it any kind of social clubs they are in. We must get involved with our child or children's lives. Next slide, please. We loved this when we saw it on Facebook, or if you didn't see it, where the father was having a conversation with his son. And the son is little and he was active and he was engaged, and the father was looking at him and he was raising his voice and lowering his voice. They were just having a real neat conversation, even though the son couldn't talk. That's what kids longed for. We loved that atmosphere that he presented to his child, looking him in the eye. Really? You're kidding me. That's just what I thought. Kids want to have this conversation with their parents, and it's our job to make sure that we do. Get involved and stay involved. So when I taught in the classroom, I had this mirror in the classroom, and I thought, what a great idea to put in church or to have in your home. So above, it's a big body mirror where you can see the whole body. And so at the top of the mirror, it says, meet the person responsible for you. Meet the person responsible for you. And on the sides, there were different words: happiness, outlook, decisions, actions, attitude, your accomplishments, your appearance, your grades, your influence, your words, your progress, your future, your thoughts, your salvation, your behavior, and your reputation. All of these words are around the mirror, and it says, meet the person responsible for your salvation, for your attitude, and I would place my students in front of the mirror, and I said, you're responsible. You're responsible for all of those things. And it was a daily reminder because they had to pass the mirror coming into the classroom. What great thing to have in your child's room or in the bathroom or in the hallway, in our education building when the kids come in to go to Sunday school. What a great uh, object to have there to remind them that you are responsible for what you put out into the universe. You're responsible for how you behave. You are the one responsible. Can't put blame on anybody else. Can't put blame on anything else. You are responsible. And so we have to let our children know that they are responsible for how they act, how they behave, and what occurs in their life. They have to take some responsibility. Next slide, please. So as you all know, I had to put in this because I don't know about in your communities, but in our community, vaping is really, really big, especially in our school. Half the behavior problems, especially in middle and high school, evolve around vaping, selling it, getting it, having it on campus, using it. And so I just wanted to bring that back in. As parents, we have to fight back against this. Parents are fighting to ban books, which basically doesn't do anything to harm you. Whereas vaping shops are it's one on every corner in our town. I don't know about your town, but it's a vaping shop everywhere. Almost every other corner, there's a vaping shop where people can go in to get vaping. And I wanted to make you aware that it looks like everyday things. Some of the vaping look like highlighters, markers, lipstick, everyday things that students would use, pens, pencils. These are vaping mechanism. And as a parent, you should be aware. It is no harm in checking your child's backpack daily if you must. Check the backpack. Pull open the markers, pull open the pencils. We need to be proactive, making sure that we are making our children responsible. So go in there, look in their backpacks, go into their bedroom. You pay the house note, you pay the rent. That's your room. They just using it for a while. Go in there and look through their things and look through the drawers. Be a responsible parent to try to make sure and speak to your child or children about vaping. It is very big. It is very much pushed. It's very much information is needed on this aspect of what's going on in a child's life. So make sure you check things out, discuss vaping with them, discuss the harms it does to the lungs, and just discuss all of this with your child or children. You be aware so that you can become aware. But look like highlighters, look like markers, look like pencils, anything that you can open up and push in. Vapors are using those as vaping, and it's sweet and it's enticing. So just please make sure you're aware first as a parent, and then make sure that you are talking to your child about this if they're old enough, discussing it. You are the parent, so you can decide how do you want to address your child with this situation. But check around for signs of vaping. Next slide, please. Sunday school is school. Sunday school is school. We have been saying eradicate Bible illiteracy. So treat Sunday school like a school. Be proactive. Make sure your child is ready for Sunday school. Make sure they have studied the lesson. Make sure they are prepared. Make sure they have their clothes prepared. Do you or have you met with your child's Sunday school teacher? How is your child behaving in Sunday school? Are they participating, or do they have their phone out? Are they making trouble? You be proactive. Go to the Sunday school, talk to your child's teacher, let them know that you are available or that you are willing to help with anything that you possibly can. Let them know that you are helping your child be a responsible Sunday school student. Do I need to bring anything? Do I need to bring any supplies? Get engaged and involved in your child's Sunday school. Talk to the teacher, see what's happening, see what's coming up. Make sure that your child is just not coming to Sunday school because you're making them, but make sure that they are being participatory and that they are being respectful and that they are helping out in the classroom with the teacher. As a parent, make sure you are doing that. Show up, bring supplies, help out. The dollar store, the Dollar Tree, Jester Buck, they are some of my favorite places. They have the best things for Sunday school, the best things to help with your classes. I was in there the other day, and all the dollar stores don't have the same thing. They have different things. But I was in there the other day, and they have these puzzle pieces, if you can see them. They're puzzle pieces. And what great way to make your class feel as a whole. Each child can put their name on the puzzle piece. You can put them together, and you say, this is one class. As somebody else comes in, they put their name on the puzzle piece. They can tell about their favorite place. They can tell about a favorite thing, their favorite item, but create a big puzzle of all the students, and they can be spread out, but put the puzzle pieces together. We are one, but we are together as the puzzle. They have these wonderful smiling face balls. And so before class, sitting down in class, I would have the students pick a ball, and they have to throw it to another student, and they have to say something positive, something that would make the student smile. You look nice today. I love your hairstyle. I'm so glad you're in our class. I'm so glad you're here on time. Oh, I love your name. Have them say something positive about one of their students. Then the student throws the ball to another student, and it continues as long as you would like it to continue. But teaching our children to give positive responses is just a great way to aid in Sunday school. Another one, they have a ball that lights up. And so at the end of class, you can throw the ball to another student and say, how is your light going to shine this week? What did you learn from the lesson that'll help you shine during this week? So we not only want our students to be in Sunday school, but when they leave, we want them to carry the message of Sunday school throughout the week. And so how is your light going to shine throughout the week? So visit your dollar stores. They have a whole school section, and they have wonderful things, wands that you are king for the day. It's your birthday. They have just a whole lot of things for teachers to help make students feel very special. So what are you doing in Sunday school to help your child or help the children feel special? And so visit the dollar store. They have just great things. I also have this, what I call, I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but this is what I call the cooperative learning pad or board. So it sits up in front of students, and it has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. So the number that you're sitting in front of, that's your number. So if I call on number ones to respond or number ones to stand up, number one, stand up. If I call on number 2s, 3s, or 4s, it also has at the top shoulder partners. So they know that the person next to them is their shoulder partner. So if I say, talk to your shoulder partner, they can communicate with their shoulder partner. If I say, talk to your face partner, they know that that's the person in front of them, that's their face partner. So this is a great tool as well to help when doing pair share activities, when doing discussions, when doing small group discussions. If I say number ones, get into the four square corner and talk, then the number ones will go into the corners and talk. If I said the even numbers, stand up. So there are great things and great ways to engage your students without calling them out. And you're the teacher, so you're in control. I know my students, know your students so that you won't embarrass them. I know which students can read well. So sometimes, and I know the ones that struggle. So sometimes at the end of class, I say, oh, next week, I'm going to ask you to read the first part of a scripture. So that child can go home and study it. That child can get prepared. That child can be ready. So know your students, know the ones that are shy, know the ones that don't like to talk. And so you're going to come over there and stand beside them and maybe put your hand on their shoulder and give them a kind of a heads up that I'm going to call on you to do something. Great place for gifts. I saw Jean Gardner push that up. Dollar store is a great place for a treasure box or a prize box where students could pick prizes out for good work or just for coming to Sunday school. And so those are just a few ideas I wanted to share with you. Next slide, please. Reading is a necessity. Reading is a necessity. Find out what your child or children's interests are. Once you find those out, find books or materials or things that they are interested in, that they can read continuously. Comic books, magazines, anything that's continuous reading, find those and help your child become a better reader. Good books to support their interest. Read at least 15 minutes a day. Read at least 15 minutes a day. And if possible, sit next to your child. Why is that important? Because children can read a book and you think they're reading it. But then when you look at the words, you're like, oh, they made up a whole different story than what's here. So if you can kind of monitor their reading and follow along with them, be engaged, that's a good parent time. That's a good time for you to question them and see how they read for yourself. Reading and writing are connected. If a child reads well, 9 out of 10, they write very well. If a child struggles with writing, they will struggle with reading. So you can sit your child down and say, oh, write to me about your day. If they have trouble writing, they probably 99% have trouble reading. So as a parent, we want to connect reading and writing. You read this book. I'm going to want you to write 3 things that you enjoyed out of the book. Write 3 things that you loved about the book. Connect reading with writing. Participate in it. Discuss it. You are building your child's vocabulary. I love the American Girls, and Paula, my daughter, loved Addie. This is Addie. Paula did not like to read. Very good student. She was, and I keep saying was because Paula passed away, but she wasn't gifted and talented. She was a GT student. And so she did not like to read. So I heard about the Addie books. I heard about the American Doll Addie. Addie was a slave. So all of her books are about her life as a slave, from slavery to freedom. And Paula loved the Addie books, and they come in several books, but I happen to have one that's that has all the books in one. But the first book, and you know they're trying to ban books and don't want to talk about slavery and don't want to talk about anything that's related to African American history or Black history. And so in the book Addie, she, as a slave girl, had to pick the worms off of the tobacco leaves. That was her job, to go through the field and pick the worms off of the tobacco leaves. Well, Addie left a few worms on the leaves, and the slave master made her go back and eat every worm she left on the leaves. Paula was furiated. She was so upset, but this triggered an interest in reading. And so she wanted to read more and more and more about Addie's life. She couldn't understand how a person can make a child do something like this. So that opened up a whole world of conversation. Her father, B.P. Atkins, is a historian. So they had discussions. They had something in common. We talked about African American history. We talked about our plight. So find something that your child is interested in, get materials, get books, get things that they could read and get more information about, do research about, and learn about. Also, Jason Reynolds, he has some great books about these athletes, these people that like to run track. And he tells a story about each person on the track team and connects them. So he has some great books as well. And Kawami Alexander has the crossover books, and they talk about soccer and sports. So there are a lot of great books, a lot of great things out there that could be of interest to your child. So make sure you find out what your child is interested in and get books and materials to help them along the way. Also, this is Cancer Awareness Month, breast cancer in particular. I don't know if you've read this or seen Hair Love, and it was written by Matthew A. Cherry, and Vashanti Harrison does the illustration. So this is a book about a little girl's mom who had cancer, and so she had to go into the hospital. So her dad was left in charge of combing her hair, and this little girl had a head full of hair, and so her dad was trying to comb her hair and get her prepared because her mom was coming home that day, and she wanted to look special. So it's a book about closeness with the father and daughter, and how they had a bond. And then it talks a little bit about cancer, so you can talk to your child about cancer and sometimes what happens, especially if a mom or parent or grandmother or a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer. And then at the end of the book, she gets to go to the hospital and sees her mom, and they come home. So anything like that where you can connect, where you can discuss, where you can sit down and spend time with your child, that will help them immensely. That will help them a whole lot. Next slide, please. So just in closing, I want you to practice being proactive, downloading the calendar, going to your child's school, making sure things are being right. Know their friends. Know if they're being bullied. Know if things are happening. Get involved. Our kids are suffering because we're too busy with our own lives. But make sure, I applaud parenting. Parenting is not easy. Parenting is challenging, but we have to meet the challenge. We have to meet it, and we have to exceed the challenge, because these people, we are responsible for these lives. Know your child, know your children. Don't be shocked. Don't be, oh, my child wouldn't do that. My child wouldn't lie. My child wouldn't do this. Know your child. I knew Paula was active. I knew when I got a phone call, they were going to say she talked too much. I just knew this because she, at home, I would say, Paula, it's time to be quiet. Just one more thing, Mama. Just one more thing. Paul was, quiet. He did what he was supposed to do. And I'm sure he did some other things, but I knew them, and I knew what the expectation was. Talk to your child or children, not at them. Talk to them, not at them. It's all right to check on them. It's all right to check their stuff. It's all right to check their backpackers that have school lockers. It's all right to check through your child's thing. It's all right to have a conversation with them about those things. Let your child or children know what is expected of them in Sunday school. I expect you to go. I expect you to know your lesson. I expect you to participate. I expect you to be respectful. And I'm going to look in on you. I'm going to be there. Before you know it, I have popped up and I'm in your classroom. So make sure you treat Sunday school like you treat your child's school. And hopefully that's positive. Read and write with your child. Read and write with your child. Read and write with your child. And last but not least, have a discussion with them. Sit down with them individually. Sit down with them together. See what's going on in your child's life. Look through their phones. Look through their phones. Look through their clothes. Be engaged. I wanted my child to know that if push came to shove and you didn't act right, oh, that bedroom door was going to come off that bedroom. They have to know that you mean business and that you are not so busy that you can't attend to them as a child. So I thank you. I hope I said something that will saturate your heart, saturate your mind. I hope I said something that will get you engaged now in school. Don't wait till it's too late, but school is in session now. We're back. Act like we're back and make sure you're engaged in your child's life.
All right. What a wonderful, you said you didn't have a lot to say. You had a lot to say. Wonderful information. So let's do what we always do. Let's give
Yes.
her our hand claps.
Thank you guys so much.
The comments. It was wonderful. I made a comment like, can't you hear your passion? You can just hear your passion coming through. When you're passionate about something and you love it, it's just so easy to pour out to us about this educational piece and being proactive and engaged in both Sunday school and this secular school, whether it's homeschooling or in the schoolhouse. It's so
Right.
important for us to be involved. And you went through and you gave us all the ways that we should be proactive. Now, I heard something today I've never heard before about the most important 9 minutes in a child's life. And I said, well, that kind of does make sense. So it's the 3 minutes
3
when they
minutes.
first get up. Go ahead, tell us about that. That's
Go
how that
ahead.
was.
And that sets the day to me. That sets the tone. How your child gets up. Be it you help them, be it they do alarm, or you go into the room. However they get up, just make sure that first moment is pleasant. So you're not screaming at them. You're not hollering. If you wake up with, hey, we're gonna have a family prayer, or if you have a note by their bed, something to let them know that this is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad they're in there. Even if you just tell them, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Whatever happens today, you and God can handle it. We're going to have an awesome day today. That sets the tone. You know how you feel when some people say, don't talk to me until I have my coffee. That's your first 3 minutes of the day. Don't look at me until I've done this. Well, a child has their first 3 minutes of the day. Make them pleasant. Good morning. How you doing? Speak to your child. You speak to coworkers, don't start off fussing. Good morning. Hey, so glad you're up this morning. So glad you're alive. Hey, sunshine, whatever nickname. Hey, buttercup. We are so glad you awoke. Now let's start our day. Go from there. Then the 3 minutes when they come home from school. And sometimes I know kids are latchkey kids. Sometimes they come home by themselves. So sometimes you make them call you. You make them text you. And so if they text you or call you or text you, say, I left you a snack. I left you a note on the refrigerator. That's the being the proactive. Look inside the refrigerator in the cookie jar or wherever. I left you a note. Glad you're home. Sit down and eat a snack. Rest a few minutes and then start your homework. So even if you can't be there, you can leave notes. You can do a video. You can send them a text. You can FaceTime them. Wow. So there are a lot of methods you can do I know you're home. I know I can't be there physically, and if you have time to do a little FaceTime, how was your day? Let them talk and you actually look at them, look them in the eye, and you actually listen, not you talking to them and I'm looking at my phone and but actually give them some attention.
Wow.
And then before they go to bed, in the day, say your prayers together, have a discussion. Did anything happen today that I should know about? Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Let's have a little talk with God. Let's thank him for this day. Let's ask him to forgive us if we've done anything that we know that we shouldn't have done. Make the evening pleasant. Go to bed, have sweet dreams. Not them on their phone before they go to bed, looking at a scary movie. You screaming, I told you 20 minutes ago to get in that bed. Da, 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 da. Get in there now. But make it pleasant. Make it, been there, done that. And
boy, I wish I had this 9 minutes of advice when I was, because how you get them up in the morning is so, so important. And I appreciate that. And hopefully, even now, I saw somebody make a comment, that 9 minutes is important even to us as adults, how we get up and engage even our own selves when we get up in the morning. And then I do like that you definitely told everybody to be engaged with their teachers, their school teachers and their Sunday school teachers. And this is what I love: meet them in person. They should know who you are before parent teachers meeting. You should be engaged in their
Definitely.
environment, both Sunday school and in the schoolhouse. It is so important because when they see that you are engaged, they will treat your student,
so much better,
your child, much differently. If they know that you're one of those parents that are involved. You're not fussing at the teacher, but you are partnering with the teacher. And you said something else that we are not doing with our students today. And that is teaching them how to be responsible for their own behavior. That mirror, you talked about the mirror with the different things around it. This is what you're responsible for. And I think that's something that we need to kind of reiterate with our children, that you have a level of responsibility just like the teacher, just like mom and dad. You have a level of responsibility too. We're all in this together.
Yes. And it's our jobs as parents to give them responsibility. Yeah. You can't stay in my house and not do something. You're going to wash a dish, sweep a floor, vacuum. When you get older and old enough, you're going to, take your clothes and put them in an appropriate place. We need to teach. I have to teach our children to be responsible. I've seen kids in the cafeteria just leave their food on the table. You get it up. Your mama don't work here. And even if she does, you should be responsible enough to take your trash to the garbage and clean up right where you are. It's not the custodian's responsibility to clean up after you. And so we are misguiding our children, or misleading them when they think that they can get up from the table and just get up.
Right.
You just can't leave your trash or something. If they drop something on the ground, excuse me, go back there and pick that up until you get to a garbage can. So we want them to be responsible citizens. This is our community.
That's right.
I hate it when I see trash, somebody just throwed it out the car.
I do too.
What have you been taught?
Right. I mean, so the school year has started, and these are just wonderful tips. Guys, share this, ladies and gents, and share this video, this hashtag power up with your Sunday school community, with your parents. These are excellent tips. I loved how you talked about the Dollar Tree gifts. And just every time you come, you just have so many ideas. And I always like when you come, you always introduce us to Black authors. And I absolutely love that. And I love that last book you showed about the dad that had to do the daughter's hair. That's so relevant because there are a lot of single dads out here now that are actually doing hair. And that was really good. So again, be proactive, be involved in your child's life, and pay attention to them. I thought that was really good too. You started off saying we have to pay attention. And I too, when I read your comments about what the counselor said, this is what her children said to her. I said, ooh, I think I've been guilty of one or two of those. And so that just helped me to think, okay, even now when I'm talking to people and my children, be engaged, look at them, put your phone down, and be engaged in the conversation. And that's such a small thing, but so impactful as we're training and as we're interacting with each other.
That means a lot. If I'm talking to you and you're looking down at your phone, how does that make me feel? You feel awful. I had a principal, every time I would go to talk to him, he's on his phone. I just got to the point where I said, forget it. You're not interested. I don't have time for this.
Nope.
I went on. So if I'm talking to you and if you say, hold on a minute, I really got to get this, that's different. If I'm talking to you and you like, I might as well go on about my business because they're not interested. So even with each other, we do have to be cognizant of what we're doing.
Yes. So we are so, again, appreciative of the time that you've taken out of your day to share with us again. Please, let's go ahead and thank her again for this wonderful presentation. And we want to, again, just wish, I wonder if I can put that, put our happy birthday sign up for our.
Yes.
Again,
happy birthday to you.
All right, we want to say happy birthday to our president, Dr. Mark Ellis. Remember, go out on International Sunday School Department Facebook page and YouTube page and wish him a happy birthday. He is dedicated to the vision of eradicating biblical illiteracy. We've started the TAC. We've started LEAP for superintendents and leaders. We've had awesome the last 2 years of July AIM Teachers Academy and class sessions. I mean, we are just doing wonderful things in the International Sunday School Department, and we are just thankful to God for the leader that He's given us for such a time as this. So, wish him a happy birthday. And we also want to invite you back next week. Our Dean, Dr. Kathy Owens Oliver, will be present with us next week with her presentation. So, you don't want to miss Dr. O next Tuesday. So, thank you again for joining us here at Hashtag Power Up. Thank you, Lady Atkins.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
We'll see you all guys next time.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Hashtag Power Up is part of the Learning and Development arm of the International Sunday School Department of the Churches of God in Christ. We invite you to sow into this ministry. Your gift in any amount will help us continue to share leading edge biblical educational solutions and leadership tools to churches, districts, missions, and jurisdictions of all sizes. Along with our president, Mark Ellis, we are aiming to continue to reach, teach, minister, assimilate, build, and involve people for the furthering of the kingdom of God. Furthermore, we want to eradicate biblical illiteracy. Your gift in any amount makes you part of this effort as well. God bless you in advance for your gift. We pray that the Lord richly blesses you.